Good evening. We would like to warmly welcome all of you to the Live at CSE webinar organized by Batch 21 of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering for our very own juniors of Batch 22. As third semester students, we have had the privilege of being mentored by our dedicated academic staff and have grown close to our seniors who have become like a second family over the past year. We believe it is our responsibility to provide you with a more comprehensive understanding of what it truly means to be a CSE undergraduate at the University of Moratuwa. Moreover, we want you to hear not just from us, but also from individuals who hold a special place in the field of the industry. A small reminder to share any and all questions related to our webinar to the Zoom chat, for we will be getting back to them at the Q&A sessions scheduled towards the end of today's webinar. The Department of Computer Science and Engineering is honored to have Dr. Utyasankar Thayasivam as our newly appointed head of department. He is diligently working towards elevating the department's standards and ensuring the best for our undergraduate students. We extend a heartfelt invitation to you, sir, to share your opening remarks with us.
Thank you, Chaimini, and very good evening to all the people who are joining the session. Let me welcome the panel, very esteemed, guest agree to share the panel today, and all of them have been with us throughout our growth. Some of them have been as our alumni, some of them as our partners, and the people who we closely work with. So we really thank the panel for agreeing to be here, and truly appreciate your time and effort. And also thanks to the semester 3 students, our level 2 batch, who have organized this session to bring awareness and educate their juniors with regard to what CSE can offer, and so that they make an informed decision. So truly appreciate their effort. They were able to put up a very good a webinar within a short time, despite of preparing for their exams that is lining up in a week. So I truly appreciate their commitment in getting this done. With that, let me briefly start by briefing all these students who are joined here about our department. So, as you all know, computer science engineering department is being growing, and it's one of the biggest department we have in the university, specifically in the engineering division. Engineering department is the biggest right now, and we have been one of, as all of you know, is one of the most sought after department as well. With that, we, as some of you might know, some of you might not know, that in computer science engineering, engineering department, there are 4 streams that you could basically choose. One is computer science engineering, that is the plain vanilla, the stream that we have been maturing over years. On top of that, we have integrated computer engineering, that is has been there now for a while, and also been another important and very well received stream in our department. We have recently added data science and engineering and cybersecurity stream, and those have been other 2 very demanding and highly needed streams. All these have been curated with the inputs from industry and made to the perfection, so that they are at a level that cater to the international market as well. So with that background, I also would like to address another important aspect. Our curriculum has been constantly check for equality, and we have continuously meeting the standards that is needed. For example, the IESL aggregation, we already have an aggregation that is for the current batches, and we got re-aggregated for the the upcoming batches as well as current batches. So that will go for at least another 5 years. And it is an ongoing process, so we will continue to sort of work with them and improve and improve the process in a way that it align with the state of the changes that's happening around us. In fact, I'm really the department is really blessed to have senior lecturers like Professor Chandanaga, Professor Sanath, Professor Shant, Professor Dias. Some of these senior, and in Professor Indiga, some of these senior professors has been IESL reviewers or the Washington Accord reviewers to review and quality check the other universities' computing degrees. So we pretty much have a suite of reviewers who actually aggregate others in our panel, in our department, and so we actually became the leaders in this discipline. And even in our last aggregation meeting, IESL exclusively said that you are the state of, they are the leading institution or department in this arena, and you have to help others also grow and introduce some of the changes that you did, specifically how we managed during the COVID, how we adapted hybrid learning, how we adapted new technologies, how are we going to adapt ChatGPT? All these questions they asked to learn from us, and also we have people like Ms. Visaka and few others who are actually working at a national level to define the policy around computing as well. So as this is that, like, I mean, our department is like blessed with people who play at a very different arena, and we use all these smart people, really experienced people, to help teach you the module. Like, I mean, and I don't know, many of you know, like, we have one professor who is actually the Hall of the Fame for Internet, and I will leave that as a question without mentioning his name, and see anybody can guess. We have a department that constantly publish really good journals and papers, and also made it mark in around the world. Some people would like to claim, take a lot of pride when it comes to the department, like from what kind of, companies they work for, what kind of leading companies they work for, or what kind of salary the department's graduates get. I am very confidently can take the pride, but that is not how I am going to kind of position my department. The way I look at it, how our students have shaped the world, the kind of things they have impacted around the world, is how I take a lot of pride. They have really touched upon various parts of the things that currently being consumed by the world population. So with that brief introduction to this department, I will again thank the panelists who have agreed their time and effort, to share their views with the students. I truly appreciate your time, specifically because this is all these panelists are from various parts of the world and different time zone, and they agree to help us despite of their various time zone, etc. We have a very chilly, raining night here in Colombo, and some of you might see that you can the Colombo high 3,000 feet kind of a view photos. It's a very nice day here. To be in Colombo, looks almost like winter West world right now. With that, again, thank you, Chemni and team, the semester 3 batch students for helping organize.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. And next, we would like to hand over the controls of the session to Senior Lecturer and Director of the Center for Open and Distance Learning of University of Moratuwa, Ms. Vishaka Nanayakara, to share a few thoughts on CSE undergraduates of our university. She is not just an educator, but also a valuable mentor to all of us in the department. Madam, over to you.
Thank you, Chemini. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, very especially the new students who are joining with us this evening to hear about the successes of CSE. I think when they started talking about what we have achieved and all that, my memory actually went back to a long time ago when I was a young head of department, and when the Sri Lankan university system started doing the ranking for the first time, the peer reviewing of the degree programs. This was long before the IESL's Washington Accord. But when we started, we had a group of people coming to Moratua to talk about how we do things and all that. And everybody was, all departments were going through this. But I distinctly remember we were a department where we got A's in all categories. And this was where most of other people failed was the peer reviewing of the lectures. And our panel was very surprised because not only that we did peer reviewing of each other, the teachers, but the students knew that as well. So they said, when we asked the students, are your lecturers being peer reviewed? They all unanimously said yes, they knew that. That, to me, as then young head of a department, really defined what CSE is. CSE is not just a place where you have academic staff members, you have students, you have past students. We are just one family who collectively work towards flying the flag high. It can be CSE flag at times, it can be University of Moratua flag at times, but quite often it had been the Sri Lankan flag. All our panelists today would have their own stories to tell us. But to me, as a member of the CSE family, it's what we have achieved collectively together. When a student wins a international competition, it's not just their win, it's all of us, the CSE family wins. When one of our students get a PhD from somewhere, it's a medal for the whole family. So that, my dear students, over more than, I first came to Moratua in 1987, then as a student of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in its second batch. But since then, what I have seen is that we are a family who helps each other. In that token, I'm very happy to see many of our alumni who are excelling in what they have selected on a very short notice on the request from the semester 3 batch, joining us this evening. For some of them, it's very early in the morning. Some of them, it's fairly late in the night. But thank you so much. And this is where the CSE family and CSE as a family always collectively achieve things. So thank you so much. I'm not going to blow the trumpet of each and every one of you, but I value the fact that you all are members of this family, a family which cherishes all its accomplishments. And if you look at the other younger staff, younger colleagues who are in the department who are joining us, you all are here because you value what we do as a family. Thank you so much. And over to you, Chemini, to conduct this. But before I hand over, my dear students, you may be having questions. So use either the chat or you can use the Q&A. Use the Q&A to ask questions. We will answer those questions to the extent possible. So make sure that you ask your questions. Thank you. And over to you, Shamini.
Thank you, ma'am. Up next, we have one of our dearest alumni, Chamika Sudhasinghe, a senior from batch 17 who just started his PhD journey in computer science at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign recently. He was also awarded the Best Undergraduate of 2022 by Computer Society of Sri Lanka. He is joining us today to provide some insights into his experience as a CSE undergraduate of University of Moratua. Mr. Chamika, over to you.
Yeah, hope I'm visible and I'm audible to all of you.
Yes.
Just wanted to check. Yeah. So, hello everyone. So I'm Chamika. So as mentioned in the introduction, I'm a first year PhD student. And I suppose that I am the youngest in the panel today. So you will hear from many experienced alumni going on because there are a list of panelists who are joining with us today. So just to give you an overview about what I'm doing right now. So I'm a PhD student at University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, which is among the top 5 universities for computer science PhD programs in the world. And if you go into like CS rankings, you will see that it is among the top 2 in the area that I am studying, which is called architectures, uh, programming languages, and parallel computing. So you might be wondering, so even though you are just starting your undergraduate journey, I just wanted to like just give you an idea about what I'm working right now, because you might have uh, a sense about what I'm doing. So I'll start with something that you all know now, which is ChatGPT. So you know about ChatGPT and how it has revolutionized the way that we think about computing these days. So what I'm doing is for these machine learning models and these deep neural networks and transformers. So this goes by different names. You can search in the internet and get to know about this. So ChatGPT has like billions of parameters that we deal with. Like we have to input like billions of different parameters, which configures these ChatGPT models. So for these ChatGPT models, you might know that if you have been in touch with these, like over the past few months, they had like different releases coming up. Like in March, I think we had a release. So likewise, it takes a long time to train these machine learning models. So what I am doing right now is to figure out a way to accelerate these machine learning workloads. Simply like, can we train ChatGPT faster? Like, can we train ChatGPT in 2 months rather than in 3 months? So that's what I'm trying to figure out these days, doing my PhD. So, uh, if you think about the top companies in the world, like OpenAI leads ChatGPT, and NVIDIA has come up with their own techniques recently. If you know that uh, they have come up with different innovations, and it's been in the news that NVIDIA is performing really well. So how these different uh, top companies perform well is because now they're coming up with their own programming languages and on different techniques. So yeah, for example, all of you might know about Python. So Python is a general purpose programming language that we use. Likewise, OpenAI has their own language, like which is called Triton, and NVIDIA has their own frameworks, which are called like CodeEDN and cuBLAS. You can search about these things. So likewise, each different companies like Facebook, OpenAI, Google, even AWS, you might not know about that. If you think about Amazon, you might think it's an online store, but it's not like that. So they are also coming up with their own programming languages on different computing setups and all. So likewise, they are coming up with their own. And how can we be part of this revolution that's going on? So it's for us to like learn the fundamentals at first. So I'm at a university where lots of students from different parts of the world come, and they are like the best of their domains. So what I felt after I came here, that I'm also in par with all these students who are coming from various different reputed institutions around the world because of the fundamentals that I have learned. For example, I talked about these different programming languages that are coming up. So for that, we start from the very basics. In our first semester, second semester, we learn about Python, and we learn about the object-oriented programming concepts. And then we went on to learn more, like, for example, data structures and algorithms, theory of computing, advanced uh, algorithms. And we had like different modules when I was doing my undergrads to gain knowledge about these fundamentals. And on top of these fundamentals, I am now being able to work on this cutting edge stuff. And then again, during this fifth semester, I had the chance to like work on the research and development project, and the department and the faculty was like really helpful for me to like explore different directions and figure out a project for which was like intertwined with both research as well as with a product as well. So that's where I got exposed to research, and I started working on these different research areas, and finally I was able to come up with like 5 publications when I was graduating in 2022. So yeah, these are like the stuff that I did in terms of academics, and you might be thinking that that's all I have done, but that's not the case. So I've been volunteering with multiple organizations since the very first semester in the university, and I'm still volunteering. So even in my postgrad, I'm also still volunteering. So I was volunteering with IEEE, I was volunteering with the Entrepreneurship Society of University of Moratuwa and various other organizations, and I contributed to the student community a lot. Like I participated in multiple national level projects. I organized the IEEE Extreme competition in the university. And likewise, there are like multiple contributions that I did. And I also won awards for these, both the academic and the volunteering work. So if you know, there are like different bodies in the world for the domain of computing. 2 of the most prestigious institutions are the ACM, Association for Advanced Computer Machinery, and IEEE Computer Society. So I was fortunate to win all the 3 awards from IEEE Computer Society that was given to a student. So that I'm like the very first, and I guess still the only individual in the world who won all these 3 awards. And of course, I'm the first in the country to win these awards as well. So during my time at the department, I got a chance to like work on research. I had mentorship from all the faculty at the department. And also I had the opportunity to collaborate and contribute to national initiatives which were for the benefits of the student community. Like we did multiple projects for career enhancement, we did entrepreneurship initiatives, and likewise. So at CSE, you'll not just only study, you will get the chance to be an all-rounder and improve as a person, where you can be going on a path where you will be able to get globally recognized as I am. So I am the first one to win these awards in IEEE Computer Society and other organizations, as well as I got national awards as well, as mentioned in the introduction. So you might be the next one to follow this path. So you can come up with different projects, as well as you can contribute to these initiatives and be someone who will make a difference. So I'll stop here for now, and I'll give the opportunity to other panelists, because there are lots of experienced panelists who are joining with us today to share their thoughts as well. So if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat. I'll try to answer them as well. So we wish you good luck with your journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We certainly had so much to take away from your stories and your experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, to get kicked off with the next session, we all are aware that there's a plethora of fields to tread upon, since the world needs computer science engineers. Moreover, travel freedom, internationally diverse innovation and learning opportunities, and excellent graduate prospects. It's no exaggeration to say that future opportunities in computing are lucrative and rewarding without boundaries. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me have the privilege of introducing our invited guest speaker, who is a proud product of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering here at the University of Moratuwa. He also serves as a visiting lecturer for the university on distributed systems and parallel programming, in which he possesses a doctorate from the University of Indiana, Bloomington. Ladies and gentlemen, let me invite Dr. Srinath Pereira, the Chief Architect of WSO2, to shed some light on why he likes to hire CSE. Dr. Srinath, the platform is yours.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Okay, so I'll quickly tell three things. First thing is about computer science. So I'll just tell the terms. You can Google and search, etc. The first thing is that there's a famous article called "Software is Eating the World." It basically says that the role of the software is playing and the value it creates. The second thing is computer science is called the third pillar of science, next to theoretical analytics and simulations. Theoretical analytics and empirical data. The simulations and computational analysis is considered the third pillar of science. And so if the computer science is like twice better in 2 years, the world will be 100 times better. So go and read the Software is Eating the World. You will see that. Right? So that's the first one. First thing I want to say. The second thing, I work for WSO2. So we are a product company. We have several products which used by 30-40 banks, governments. So many banks, governments, airlines, the UK customs, Swiss customs, the etc. The couple of armies, etc. Right. So we so when we hire, right. So we are one of the we hire like among the top computer science student in Sri Lanka. Clearly, we are very picky, right? I think because the systems we build and the problem we solve need the best brains. So I would say this. So any computer science program, usually 4-5 people get in a year to WSO2, not even that. So almost every year we get about 3-4 times that from CSE. So that tells what needs to be told, right? So the second thing. The third thing, computer science is not an easy field. I think when I say that it's eating the world, software is eating the world, and it's changing the world, you should realize that, right? So it's not a field for. You should do it if you love it, right? It's not a field to idle, right? So let me tell this, right? If a doctor make a mistake, one patient would die. If you are writing software for medical things or writing software for automobiles or weapon systems or airplanes, if you make a mistake, millions may die, and we might not even know that millions died because of your mistake, right? So it's not an easy field. There are people who think so. They are like badly mistaken. But so do it if you love it, right? But if you like a challenge, it's a great place to be. I'll stop there, I think. Any questions I'll take. I think that's at the end, right? Thank you. I think somebody raised the hand.
Thank you very much, Mr. Srinath. It's all the pleasure is all ours for having you here today with us amid your busy schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, the greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it. So said Molière. Said, ladies and gentlemen, I take humble pride in introducing you to Dr. Iran Vitana, who will be expounding on how CSE helped him take on challenges unfathomable and weather through to be an all-rounding personality that he is today. Ladies and gentlemen, a proud product of the Department of Computer Science Engineering here at the University of Moratuwa, who went on to obtain his master's and doctorate in philosophy from Indiana University, Bloomington. He boasts a multitude of industry expertise, having served as a senior manager for monitoring platform and experience at LinkedIn and as a senior engineering leader at Meta. He currently is a senior engineering leader telemetry at Snowflake. Dr. Iran Vitana, the stage is yours.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. For me, it's 5:30 in the morning, but I hope you guys are still having a good afternoon. So yeah, thanks for making this opportunity. Really love to talk to each and every one of you. I can't see you, but I hope everyone is doing good. I understand when you come to the university, it's a decision that you have to make about where do you want to go. I remember making that decision a long time ago. I think someone said he's the youngest, but I might be the oldest here compared to other people. Yeah, I think I want to take all of you to something I remember. I think there's an exhibition in Sri Lanka. It might be still happening. It's called Technolanka. It's happening every year where a lot of vendors come to BMICH and they present what they have been doing. I remember going there, I think in 2000, wow, now you guess my age, around 2002, that time, right? And I went there and I'm like, I don't know anything. Right? They're talking about all the stuff related to networking, software and whatnot. And I also remember those days we had a couple of private institutes and people coming there, they're talking about, Java and this and that. I'm like, I'm in CSE, I have no idea what this is, right? But one friend on the same batch gave me a nice answer, right? All what you're looking at are the applications of what you're going to learn, right? You are learning the fundamentals of everything, right? When you go to, I don't know how many of you know about the subjects that you'll be learning. Like if you look at networking system, operating systems, theory of computing, programming languages, they are teaching you the fundamentals, right? Think of you as a, a diamond that was just taken up. They are just, giving you that, cutting you to the right angle and giving you the fundamentals so that you can go and learn many other things, right? They're basing the framework, they're basing the foundations, right? I think Srinath talked about this a little bit, where, when we hire people, I remember when I was in Sri Lanka, we are looking for these people for their potential, not necessarily the fact that you have done Java for 5 years, right? If you have done Java, you only know Java, right? You only know object-oriented programming to some extent. But the world is also changing a lot. So one thing I learned from my experience 4 years at the University of Moratuwa and CSE is learn the fundamentals, right? And we can be adaptable, right? Remember we did O-levels, right? If I remember correct, if you do a smallest thing in the O-level exam, right, you get 10 marks versus A-level, you made that huge jump, right? Remember, that's not easy. Actually, that was even, I'm like 45, 46 now. Jumping from O-level to A-level is one of the biggest jump that we have done in a small amount of time, right? But CSE made me jump even further to some extent by giving me the foundations, right? So now, I think one person who came here talked about ChatGPT. There are many things that comes into this world, right? ChatGPT, this we call these large language models. Before that, there was cloud computing, right? There are so many things comes in, but if you know the fundamentals, you can do it, and that's what the CSE department does. The other part is the collaboration that you'll be having within CSE, right? The people that you're coming there, that's like cream of the cream of the cream of Sri Lanka, right? You get to work with some of these amazing people, right? Not only from your batch, right? Also from the other batches. Now, Srinath is younger to me, Salia is younger to me. We all know each other, but that bond lasted like forever, right? That is amazing what you're getting. The other part is, it actually helped me to look for diverse career opportunities, right? What I meant by that is, you can go into a wide range of career paths from software development to data science to artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, anything you name it. I end up going to systems. I think so does Srinath. But you can pick any of these areas and then venture the career, right? That is amazing. And now I used to be an engineer. I went to principal engineer level, and now I'm a manager, right? I strongly believe where I am is a direct function of what I learned from CSE and from the Sri Lankan education system, right? No question on that one. And I think one person asked, I'm going to ask two more things. One is, some person is asking, hey, how do we compare against the other other students that are coming from the private organizations, right? I wouldn't compare myself, right? I would actually consider someone as who has the foundation of the computer science and engineering, and who has proven that I have the skill set to do whatever it takes to get to the point A from point B, right? I mean, you don't ask this question around, during A-levels, right? Because you made the jump. The final piece of advice I would like to give here is, I think Srinath briefly mentioned, pick something as your career, not a job, right? If you don't know the difference, job is something you would do because someone is going to pay you and you won't do it, right? Think of a salary as something people give to you to do something you wouldn't have otherwise do, right? If someone takes your salary out, you would do that job, right? But if someone takes your salary out, you will still do the career, right? That's your career. I mean, all of us, I love myself, right? So I'll end with one more story, how I started into computer science. When I was in 9th grade, there was a presentation in our computer lab. This was 1990, but we say this in Singa in 1990. They talked about computer virus, right? And I was in the audience. I had no idea what the hell this computer virus means, right? That day I decided, okay, I'm going to start learning about this. And since then, I love what I'm doing. So I'm married. I have 3 kids. Family life is important if you're married. But for me to still do what I'm doing, what I'm loving, right, it has to be something in career. And pick something that you like. Ask from yourself, right? What do I want to do? Do I want to pick something just because I want to earn money, or something that I like to do forever until I die, right? Computer science has been challenging in so many ways for you. And CSE will prepare for that. All of us who are here are a product of that. Anyway, I leave it there. Happy to answer questions later. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Iran Vitana, for those wonderful pearls of wisdom. Just a quick reminder, ladies and gentlemen, you are free to drop your questions in the Q&A section, and we'll be tackling those questions. The esteemed panel present here today will be answering your questions toward the end of our session. Okay. So moving on, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes things can get pretty tough, and your ability to weather through may diminish. So up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very esteemed personality with us here today who will be addressing this gathering on how CSE made him believe he can. A proud product of the department who completed his PhD at Indiana University, Bloomington. He also served as an computer scientist at Virginia Tech, then as a senior software engineer at Microsoft, and currently is the principal software engineer at D-Matrix. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite Dr. Salia Ekanayaka to share his story with us. Dr. Salia.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And I'm sharing the same time zone as Iran. And this morning I joined this esteemed panelist to see, do we still have a chance to go to the semis? No one mentioned that. Anyway, yeah, so what do I do? So I work at a startup at the moment, and we are building one of the fastest AI accelerator chips for large language models, pretty much beating NVIDIA around 10 times. So that's a little bit about what I do today, but the topic is asking how CSE helped me believe I can do things that what I'm doing today. In short answer, CSE did not. So it's what happened after CSE that slowly made me realize I'm able to do the things I'm doing today is because of CSE, not while I was a student like you. So maybe like 20 some years ago, I was pretty much like you guys and girls. Maybe didn't, I was learning, right? I was learning. I joined CSE because I like to solve challenges like or problems. So in a way, I mean, if you take at least these three departments around you, computer science, engineering, electronics, electrical, they go hand in hand in your career. But now once you get out of these 4 years, you'll be thrown a lot of challenges and they'll be new to you. And so I've been in the research field, I've been in the industry, and I have been a student, I have been a mentor, and I have worked with the students coming from other countries, like you, Ola, and then I have seen this continuous thing that's common to everybody, which is that you always get thrown into new things, and new challenges will come up, and at that point, you need to learn. So it's always a learning process, and I think like pretty much all the previous panelists mentioned, you can do that if you have the fundamentals, the concepts right. So anything that comes today, I mean, AI is a new thing. When we were at the department, we only had a single course in AI. And I mean, back then it was just about convolutions of some simple neural networks. So everything you do after that is a new learning thing, and you should be able to learn if you have the fundamentals right. And that's where CSE comes into the picture. That's why I said, like, while I was at CSE, I did not know that I can do these things. So it was not while at CSE I realized this. It was after I went on to this career and faced these new challenges. When my advisors asked me to do things on, let's say, bioinformatics, when I was working on AI, when I was working on systems, doing parallel computing, distributed computing, all these new things came up. But every time in my mind, in the back of my mind, I knew, okay, I know the concepts. I have this background. I can learn something new. So taking on new challenges was possible because you had that background done already for you in CSE. And other than that, I wanted to highlight something important. So computer science and engineering has two parts. It has a science part, it has an engineering part. And then there's this term of software engineering. So it's important to understand that software engineering is it's not equal to CSE. So software engineering is a subset of CSE, I would say. So software engineering is a tool. So as you grow into this field, yes, you need to know how to write software because that's your tool. That's your tool, but it's just a tool to solve a problem. So if you're entering CSE, the view you should have is that, like Eran mentioned, you guys are the brightest, and you should target yourself to be the next set of leaders. Not just go to some company and pick on the lowest hanging fruits, like be a web developer to do something simple, or like just be a coder in a sense. The goal of CSE is not to make you a coder. Coding is part of you, but that's not where you should end up. So the amount of effort that you have done, jumping from A levels to now also in a position to come to CSE, like Srinath mentioned, it's not for the it's not a free train for you to just catch and go from point A to point B. It's in fact an escalator. So if you work hard, it will take you from point A to point B, but that point B will be much higher than where point A is. So there's a tremendous amount of responsibility that you have to undertake as well, but it's all good. If you like the area, if you love to solve challenges, then there are many opportunities at the end of this tunnel. So in a grand scheme of things, think your undergraduate as the elementary equivalent of your school days. So the real life happens after you go out of these 4 years, and CSE will prepare you with the best intentions and the best foundations you will get. So I would encourage anyone to join CSE if you like the area and if you like to be in a position where you can make a difference to the world. Okay, with that, I will leave it to the other panelists. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Salia. Those were really wonderful words to hear from you. This evening, ladies and gentlemen, I now take pleasure in introducing a distinguished and eminent personality coupled with an impressive background. With great honor and pride, ladies and gentlemen, she is a product of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, who went on to obtain her master's and her PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology under the supervision of Tim Berners-Lee himself, the father of the World Wide Web. Currently, she serves as an assistant professor at the Department of Computer Science, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. I invite Dr. Shani Seneviratne, who will be touching on CSE to world academia. Dr. Shani, the stage is yours.
All right, thanks for the very kind introduction. So my name is Oshani. I was thinking back, when I started at CSE, so this was almost 20 years ago. So I also had kind of a, quandary, should I pick electronics and telecommunications or computer science? I knew I wanted to do computer science, but I had a lot of friends who were going to do ENTC. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna be missing my friends if I choose CSE. But guess what? I found new friends in CS. And looking back, almost after 20 years, my friends who went to do ENTC actually ended up doing similar, they were in similar fields. They did similar kind of graduate studies like I did, and even ended up in my domain even. So my path to academia was not straightforward. So after CSE, which by the way laid lots of foundation for my career. For example, I can name some things like I had the rare honor of being the first intern at WSO2. I participated in Google Summer of Code, I think multiple times, like twice at the least. And my final year project led to a publication. Unlike the first speaker, I didn't have multiple publications. I just had one, but that was pretty influential to get me, admission to MIT for my PhD, master's and PhD. And as was mentioned, I again had the rare honor of being supervised by Sir Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web. And I believe I am still the only PhD graduate under him. And just recently, I published a book about linking the world's information. I have it right now. So this is about Tim's invention. So I'm very proud of these accomplishments. And looking back, I think CSE laid the foundation for most of those things, even though I didn't think of it back then. So right now I'm an assistant professor. I teach undergraduate students. I teach, master's and PhD students. I supervise, the thesis, their thesis. But before coming to academia, I was also in industry. And again, in industry too, I applied many of the things I learned at Moratua at CSE. And then I had this research role where I managed a very large project on health informatics. So again, these things were really encouraged, or was kind of implicitly taught, how to manage these things while I was at Moratua. And not only that, I serve on many academic leadership organizations. So I am the program chair of an ACM conference called Web Science. So this is a field that, kind of started as I was starting my PhD. So I had the pleasure of being one of the first, few students to be web science PhD researchers. So, another thing I should mention about the CSE department is that I started, or I applied to my PhD before I graduated from Moratua, and the staff was wonderful, in facilitating, that transition, because unfortunately at the time there was a strike or something, and all the academic schedules got kind of messed up. But the faculty there have been wonderful, and they made sure that I could start my PhD on time. And I'm not sure if I could say the same thing about other departments, but yeah, the CSE faculty were very, very helpful in that. So my final advice to you is that you should do what interests you the most, because ultimately what matters is you should be happy in your career, and you should not go with what your friends are doing. That's the dilemma I had initially, and I'm glad that I didn't follow my friends, but I decided to do what I wanted to do. And then kind of excel in what you want to do, because if you like something, I bet you are going to excel in that. So with that, I'm going to stop, and please feel free to ask me if you have any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Shani, for those words of wisdom. There was certainly so much to take from that. Let us now take a small trip down the memory lane, reflecting the moments where the students of Batch 21 came together as a close-knit family.
The sound is missing.
Nipuna, I think you should share with audio.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience. And we are certain that you would have enjoyed the video as we did. Before moving on, guys, let me share a little secret that I, as a second-year undergrad here at CSE, learned. I'm sure you're all are aware of the saying that shoot at the moon and fall in the branches. But here at CSE, we don't stop just there. We call it version 1.2, and we eventually get to the moon a few versions later. That said, ladies and gentlemen, all code and no play makes a geek a dull geek. Isn't that so? So I take pleasure in inviting our next guest speaker this evening, who will be touching on the fun side of CSE. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the co-founder and CEO of Accio, dealing with providing reliable wireless monitoring solutions for geotechnical instrumentation. Ladies and gentlemen, a proud product of our department in the years 2005 through 2009, who went on to obtain his doctorate in computer science from the National University of Singapore. I take humble pride in introducing Dr. Nimantha Barnesuriya. Dr. Nimantha, the platform is yours.
Thank you, Mohan. Yeah, thanks a lot for the intro once again, and lovely to meet all the panelists and the staff members and some of my seniors as well, who I'm seeing after a long time, after seeing them in the halls of Muratua. So yeah, so I guess a lot has been shared about like why CSE is pretty cool in terms of like which I totally agree with. Like I was thinking about this whole session, and one core thing that I want to get across was the the fundamentals aspect, which I think a few of the other panelists spoke of, so I won't go there, but it's true for me as well, because right now I'm not doing anything technical as most of the other panelists are doing right now. I'm running a startup. And then I actually did my PhD and then transitioned not into academia, but into running a company. And that involves a lot of other skills like, raising investments, dealing with clients, managing investors, which also are skills and talents of things that I had to learn on the go, for which the fundamentals that I gained at CSE really helped. At least like that level of coaching, the way that CSE sort of molds you into tackling hard problems, and encouraging self-learning and all those are key things that you would require in your careers, whatever you do. And that's something that I'm really and truly thankful to CSE and all the 4 years that I spent there. So yeah, enough about that. I'm supposed to talk about the fun things. So there are a lot of fun things actually that we did at CSE. So again, some of the things that we got to do might not be there, and there might be even more fun things that are there at the department these days. So at least thinking about my time, and I saw some questions have coming through as well about sports. So sports, of course, is not offered by CSC, but there's ample opportunity for you to take up sports. I'm an example for it. I was in the university tennis team, even in the final year. So I got colors, and actually, because we managed to win the championship in 1 year against the University of Colombo and all that. So after graduation, I got the most outstanding graduate award, which is like the most prestigious award that anyone can get at the university during the conversation. And that was because I did both sports and my studies at CSE quite well. And there's ample opportunity. I mean, so if you're interested in sports or any other extracurricular activities to keep, your life balance, I think CSE is a wonderful choice. Lots of opportunities, and the department also encourages participation in these extracurricular things outside of the department. And within the department, again, there are so many opportunities that were available for us to improve our communication skills and presentation skills, which are really important soft skills, right? So when you get into your careers, as Irana was talking, the career is important. And again, the technical aspect is one thing that helps you with your careers, and the other aspect is soft skills, which a lot of departments or a lot of schools probably don't really play emphasis on. But when you go into a job or start working somewhere, you'd see how important presentation skills and communication skills are, because you might come up with like a wonderful algorithm to solve the world's hardest computer science problem, but if you can't communicate it, if you can't get your team to follow what you want them to do, or if you can't really present what you're thinking to some other stakeholders or to clients, for example, it becomes a big problem. And CSC therefore realized that not the technical things is just one aspect of who you are, and soft skills also should improve of the students. So to cater to that challenge, CSC offered very fun programs. Actually, we had communication skills classes during the semester. There were drama festivals where we had to act out dramas that we wrote ourselves in English. Like we had to write the scripts in English and then prepare, act everything in English, which is really fun. Pretty stressful, but it was really fun. And then there were car racing events that again where we had to build racing cars from scratch. And then we had to do marketing presentations to the faculty to try and convince why they should buy our car, which requires selling your ideas to a panel. And then there were teledrama and TV productions that we did. Like there's again, I haven't been to the department in some time, so I don't know if it's still there, but at least when I was there was a full-fledged studio that was at the department that had all the audio-visual equipment that we used to make very cool music videos and teledramas and studio productions. It was really fun. We had a really nice time at that studio, filming really cool stuff that some of it is still in YouTube and brings back a lot of memories when we see those programs. And then we had an annual cricket tournament where we competed not just against the other students in the faculty, but also against the staff team, which is really fun because that's the first, that's the not the only time we get to sort of throw some balls hard at the staff and to get some of the stress out of our bodies in a way. And also it's attended by the faculty, the industry people. So it's in a way good opportunity that we had as students to network with people from the industry, the students, the faculty, and other students from other batches. It was really fun event that was on the CSE calendar. And also, finally, the year sort of wraps up with an AGM event, which is quite grand. So again, it's organized by the students and it's attended by ex-students, alumni, some industry members, faculty members. So again, lots of networking opportunities there as well. And again, another cool thing, maybe the last one that I'd like to speak about, because I'm currently doing it for a batch of new students, is mentoring. So when we were at CSE, all the students were divided into groups of 3 to 4 members, and each group was assigned an industry member as a mentor. And it was pretty cool because the thing is, there weren't a fixed agenda or topics that were set. We just had to meet this mentor once every few weeks. And we talk about all sorts of topics like industry-related topics, personal grooming things like etiquettes, professional etiquettes, and things like so many different topics. And it was very nice. So I still remember a number of those sessions that we had. My mentor at that time was at MIT. And yeah, so those sessions were something that I really look forward to. And right now, I'm doing the same. I'm returning the favor to a batch of students from the current level 3 batch. And I'm having mentoring sessions with them every other week. And the topic that we are talking about is entrepreneurship, because they want to learn about my startup journey and how it has been starting a company. So I've sort of broken down the entrepreneurship journey into multiple phases, and we are doing like bi-weekly calls on each stage of the journey. So that's, I think, like a very long list of very cool things that the department does to help the students, not just on the technical front, but on the soft skills and the other fun aspects of life as well, just to keep things all rounded and make you guys balanced students. So yeah, I would stop at that, and I would happy to take any questions as well later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nimanta. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for the session you've all been waiting. It's a Q&A session, final session for the day. I think our esteemed guests present here today, our esteemed panel, have answered most of our questions that were posed on the Q&A section. But we've handpicked a few of those questions, and we kindly invite our esteemed panel to feel free to expound on these questions. The first question would be, they say CSE has great job opportunities, but with graduates from other private universities, there's a competition for jobs, especially if we are planning on migrating. Would this make it difficult for us to survive in the field, sir?
I'm happy to take that one. Yes, so there's competition always, and why only think about other private universities around Sri Lanka? You're competing with the world. So, like I said, it's not a free ticket. You have to keep up with the trends. You have to keep up with your learning. So it's not a free ticket that just because you're in CSE that someone will take you in. CSE will lay the foundation for you, and it will lay a really high foundation for you. Like I said, it's an escalator, will take you from point A to B, where B is really high. But you need to be willing to take on that challenge. It's not a free pass. That's my take on it. Yeah.
Also, this Srinath, I'll just add, although the way it works is either you can pick a field that very few people do, then there's few opportunities, but no competition. You don't get paid much either. Or you do something that that a lot of people like, that has a lot of opportunities. I mean, other people are not stupid. They are, if there are more opportunities, there are more people like fighting for it. Simple as that. You choose.
And if I may add something, sorry. So, I agree with all that was said. It's not a free pass. Like, do not take things for granted. Like, getting a degree in CSE does not automatically guarantee a job. And at the same time, I've had some students who drop out because, not because they are bad or anything, because they want to, start a company, and they've been like, super successful, right? So in this day and age, actually, like, if you have the drive, sometimes the degree may not be, may not be needed for your career, right? So if you, there are so many successful stories, but at the same time, you probably want to, get the degree and like, lay the foundation if you want to get a job. But I echo the sentiment. It's not a free pass.
So I add a little bit more color to that one as well. It's normal that you're comparing yourself with other people that are coming out. There's competition and whatnot. Things Alia and Srinath were saying, you need to push yourself. But at the same time, look at the success of the people here, just in this panel, right? Salia, Srinath, Nimantha, Chamika, Oshani, right? Oshani worked with like the founder of internet, right? We all came from CSE, right? And that's not because only we came from CSE, we had to put our personal touch into this one, right? So that's number one. It's not a free pass. But at the same time, I think someone posted somewhere I saw the salaries that we are getting, right? Especially in US, I'm not sure about Sri Lanka these days, but the salaries that you're getting is amazing, right? And the job market has been amazing, even if there's economic downturn. I also want to address another point here. So we call this imposter syndrome, right? When I got into university, I felt like, oh my goodness, I'm coming from Ambalangur Dharmachok College, and I'm with all the people from Royal College and people who were like number one. I felt like, do I fit in here? Like in the CSE among 48 students? That's how Sri Lanka, that's a Sri Lankan nature. We compare with each other, right? Oh, am I good? Am I not? And someone is asking, will I be successful? You will be successful. I don't know any of you right now. I can't see on all your faces. I can guarantee you, I bet $10 on each and every one of you that all of you will be successful if you get into CSE. It's also a function of how much you have to put. It's not that you can just go there and then be there, right? At CSE, Dr. Chandana Gambagi once said, copying is an art, right? If you want to copy assignments, right, just don't copy it. Someone copied my CV and it had my date of birth also in there, right? You can't be that stupid, right? So I think, don't compare. Of course, it's normal to compare with others, but you can do yourself. You already made this huge jump from A level to here, right? You're not taken as granted, and you can do it. We all have done it. I'm pretty sure you can do it. So remember that $10 bet.
Thank you very much, sirs and madam. Moving on to the next question, I think Dr. Uday did mention the few fields of specialization that CSE has to offer, but I would kindly request our wonderful panel to come forward and actually elaborate on the specialization that computer science engineering here at Morutu offers.
I believe I may not be well aware of the current streams. Dr. Uday, you can probably take that question.
Yeah, sure. So at Computer Science and Engineering department, we have basically four different paths you could take. The one is the Computer Science Engineering without any add-ons, right? The standard Computer Science Engineering pathway, where like you'll get to know the basics of computer science and engineering, networking, databases, etc. Right? The special streams start from integrated circuit engineering, integrated computer engineering, which is more towards embedded systems and industrialized engineering. And then we have a data science and engineering stream, which is more towards data science, machine learning, and AI. And then we have a cybersecurity stream, which is more towards, cybersecurity, like securing computing system. This is broadly the four different things we have. You don't need to choose it as you come into the department. You have ample time to choose it. Once you come in, you will basically go through the first semesters or so to get to know the basic. That is common for everybody. And as you come to the later semesters, you will be given enough prepping and awareness to choose and what is the difference and etc. Excuse me. So those are the four. They are currently available, and the details of these streams are already mentioned in our website as well as in our handbook. So I will share the website link in the chat for the references of the people who are listening here.
As Dr. Tishankar said, you will be having the semester 2 and semester 3 will be common for all streams. Even in semester 4, larger majority of the fundamentals are common for all the streams. And you will be well informed of what those streams are, but you will, as you heard, fundamentals are important, and we have known that we always allow you all the basics, the fundamentals that are needed would be covered, and then based on the stream, you will be emphasizing a bit more on whatever the stream that you select. Over to Compiers.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vishaka. Moving on to our next question. It's a pretty interesting question. Can we do entrepreneurship minor while doing our CSE degree during our time at university? So can you explain or give insights on this?
Again, I think Dr. Adisha would be better informed. Any of the minors that I offered right now won't come in that format for in the new curriculum, but any of the faculty electives you can take it. But let me speak to you as the staff advisor for the University of Moratuwa Entrepreneurship Club. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, the entrepreneurship club is there. We always try to help you with all that. And as Dr. Nimanta said, even in assigning mentors, we ask the students for their preferences. If they want to, if their career aspiration is to be an entrepreneur, we try to get a CSE alumni who will be able to help that. But other than that, university has an entrepreneurship club, which helps you to do that. The minors are not in the new curriculum. The minors are somewhat different because they go as faculty electives. Yes, you can do that. So there was a time, Iran, I think, where we said, oh, at least if we have one entrepreneur a year, that's good enough. But today, if you look at the entrepreneurs who have come out from CSE, people like Nimanta, every year we seems to be having at least a couple of very successful entrepreneurs. So we are happy. And larger majority of them contributes not only to the country's economy. We have people who are internationally recognized. I mean, Nimanta, if you look at Danica at Bashalanka, Andunati Mojot, I can keep on adding to the list, but that possibility is there.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next question would be, machine learning and AI are offered in other departments as well. What sets CSE apart from them?
Should the panel answer this, or should we step in? Let me, I mean, I don't want to comment about other department. I don't know whether they really do offer these modules as a core modules. But like, as the panelists keep repeating, right? I mean, I remember one panel, Salia mentioned that at this time it was only, one basic module of AI was offered, because at that time when it was offered, they were still too young, and we were able to like offer a introductory module there. Now we offer like advanced module with the adaptation of the latest technology in the department. So we offer exclusive stream that, as mentioned in the chat, answered by Vishaka Madam earlier, a data science and AI stream, I don't think any other department do offer an exclusive stream around that. So if you are interested in learning data science, machine learning, advanced machine learning, big data analytics, artificial intelligence, and so on and so forth, there is an exclusive stream that we offer in which we have those modules, we are covered. As it's been mentioned again and here, we take a look at that instead of just introducing tools or very high level things and just get away. We wanted to like take you to a level where like you understand the fundamentals so that you can actually be somebody who will change the ChatGPT so that like currently Charmika is trying to do, make ChatGPT affordable for like others, make ChatGPT affordable even for OpenAI so that they can make it more efficient, right? So that's the angle we take, and I'll stop there and let the panelists comment what is their view on that.
I mean, I can add something from my university because I am an academic myself, and I am in the Department of Computer Science, but AI machine learning courses are being taught in many departments. I feel like computer science, a department that focuses on computer science should have the core competencies to teach AI subjects. And even in my curriculum offering, like I teach this semester, I'm teaching something called AI and blockchain. I also teach a course called AI in fiction and fact. So I think, the students I get, like, they select those subjects because they like either me, the lecturer, or the material, because it sounds like, quite interesting. So I think, this is a problem across many universities because of the explosion in AI and machine learning. It's offered in multiple, degrees. But my personal belief is that, like, CS, is the best, department to take those subjects in.
I'd like to add one sentence to that one. AI is a growing field, and I see the question. I mean, everybody offers some form of AI or ML course or a degree or whatnot. But what I want to really highlight is there's nothing magical or specific about AI itself. If you know your vector multiplications, if you know the fundamentals, how to do mathematics in computer science, those are the basic building blocks. The rest of it you can learn pretty much from outside as well. You don't need to necessarily be in CSE or something else to learn those things, but you will need to be in CSE to learn the fundamentals, otherwise you will fail. It's very hard to come from outside and try to learn AI, but if you have the fundamentals, AI is one of the easiest fields to break in. That's what I wanted to add.
Thank you very much, sir. So I think we can move on to our next question. I think this question was answered on the Q&A section itself, but as it was posed over and over again, we thought of bringing it to the Q&A session as well. Most often the focus is on software. What is the scope and opportunities for hardware specialization in CSE?
I think Nivanta might be the best person to answer this.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. I was waiting to see whether like someone from the faculty can take up the provide more information about the ICE stream, because maybe I can share my experience with working with students from the ICE stream. So of course, when I was at CSE, there were no specializations. Everyone followed the same curriculum. Of course, there were choices in modules, like if you're interested in computer architecture, you can take computer architecture, advanced computer architecture, and so on and so forth. But now, when I started my startup, like I was visiting Sri Lanka for some time, and I met Chandana sir for something, and then he said that there's this new stream called ICE, and I asked what that was, and he said it's integrated computer engineering, which is about focusing on hardware and embedded related subjects. So that was really fascinating because my startup was all about building embedded electronics and firmware protocols. And we need a lot of those talents, which is really hard to find. I'm in Singapore. So in Singapore, the talent pool for embedded electronics and embedded software engineering is very little. And so yeah, so we are actually in the first place we offered internships to 2 students, and then that turned out to be a very positive experience because they not just had the core computer science backgrounds in algorithms, computer science, and those subjects. They on top of that they had hands-on experience in embedded engineering, which is like a more specialized form of software engineering because you're programming on memory constrained devices, like you're programming on not for computers or servers, but you are programming for tiny microchips, which is like a completely different skill set. And yeah, so our experience with these students have been really positive. So after those 2 students, we've kept offering internships year after year after year. I think this year also we are having 2 or 3 students interning with us. And some of these interns have come back and joined us full time as well in Singapore. So my experience with ICE students from an industry point of view has been amazing. And yeah, I think they are learning a lot. They're not just excelling in the hardware, the software aspect, but the hardware aspect of computer science as well. So, but what exactly is taught in the subjects and the curriculums, I'm not probably the best person to answer.
Yeah, Charmika, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I at some points as a student who followed the ICE stream. So yeah, so regarding the work that I have done as an undergraduate in the ICE stream, so from semester 3 on semester 5, if I mention about the project itself, I was working on a project where you might have heard about it. So in Apple iPhones, we have the A15, A16, whatever the chip that we call, which is a system on chip. So what I was doing is to like find threads that can happen within a system on chip while the communication is happening. So that's the project that I was working on. So in the hardware domain, which is like more towards computer architecture, you can involve in projects like doing applications for systems using different techniques that you can use. It can be machine learning, it can be heuristic based techniques, or different ways that you can contribute. And yeah, so likewise, if you are interested in following the ICE stream, there are certain semesters when I was taking, we can do our own project and come up with our own solution. There's a scope for that. And I had the ability to like continue from my semester 5 project to like my final year project itself, where I was able to work on the same domain for like 1.5 years, which was the reason that I was able to like get multiple publications because I had time. So multiple students of the same batch, they worked on like different areas. Like they worked on like applications of computer vision coming. One of my friends worked on drones, which was on a simulated environment back then, because in 2020, 2021, we had the COVID-19 pandemic. Although the projects were to like come up with something tangible at the end of the day, because of the pandemic, we had to come up with simulations. And yeah, so there are like different projects that we did in iStream. I think it's pretty interesting, and the world is moving in that direction as well, because since the students are like interested in computer science, you might need to like look into like Moore's law, Dennard scaling, and these fundamental facts. For example, the number of transistors in a certain space is now becoming saturated, as well as when it comes to like Dennard scaling, it's about the energy efficiency. So it's going towards like heterogeneous computing. So these are like new terms for you, but there are plenty of contributions that you can do to the hardware domain. And what you have to do is like learn the basics, as mentioned before. Like you can take computer architecture, you can take advanced computer architecture, you can take programming languages, and you can take courses on compilers. So these are like the fundamental courses that are available at the department, and that will give you like the skill set that you can utilize to like work on like cutting edge stuff in the domain itself. So that's kind of my idea about what you can contribute. So there are, you can take on the iStream if you are interested. Yeah, thank you.
Just one final comment, like attached to the iStream, we have a lab facility called Intelligence Lab, basically where like you can build and play with robots and various embedded systems, other experiments, as well as some robotic related experiment as well. One of our team recently represented the university at the Robocon, and they have been recognized as the key players there. And this lab has made several patents already. Some of them are on the queue, some of them are already approved, and they have been very active and secured millions of funds from their head as well. So if you want to know more about them, in our newsletter, this Robocon and other details are there. Like this lab has been operating, and formally, like with renovation, we recently reopened it. So the details is mentioned in our newsletter. I share the link for the reference of the audience here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. And we are moving on to our last and final question for the day. It's a pretty interesting one. How to involve in research activities during our undergraduate life in CSE?
Shani would be a good bet, or Shani or Chamika, or somebody would be a good bet. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I can relay my story, but this is like 20 something years ago, actually close to 20 years. So things may have changed and you may have more opportunities right now. But when I was an undergrad, as I mentioned, I interned at WSO2, and that was a very good experience for me in terms of getting started on research. And then in addition to that, my final year project, I remember we did something like a blood cell counter, for dengue, detection, like a low cost device. And that was also a very fun experience doing it, and also reading up about research papers. I mean, for the current situation, I'm more than happy to mentor, students if you're interested in decentralized systems, like things related to the web and blockchain technologies. So do shoot me an email, like if you want some extra, mentorship. I'm more than happy to help CSE students. Either formally or informally, it doesn't really matter. Like, we don't really need to have a formal agreement, but I think doing your final year projects and, during internships, if you can get hold of some research problem, I would say go for it, because things would not really fall on your lap. You have to kind of find your way. So you have to be proactive yourself, but I'm pretty sure the department has so many opportunities available for you as well.
Yeah, I'll also add a few points to that. So I'll share my journey as well. So during my undergrad, I was able to like collaborate with 2 foreign universities on research, while at the same time I was also like doing my internship at Liveroom, which is also a bit of research-based internship. So the first thing that I would say is that the opportunities in terms of research, if you want to like pursue a career on research, it doesn't come to you, but you have to seek for it, because there are like multiple opportunities that you can get. It's just like whether you're willing to ask or not. For example, there was this session that was organized at our university. If I remember, it happened on like in the department in January 2020. So Professor Daminda He's also one of the resource persons who have been collaborating with the department over like past few years. So he came and he gave a talk on explainability of AI. So I was interested in that topic. So I waited till the end of his presentation and I went and talked to him and see like whether they are offering any opportunities to undergrads to collaborate and vice versa. So that's one point of contact that I made. And then I worked on a simple project with him. And then he was interested that I am passionate about this field. And then I went on to like work on a project. So that's one instance. The second one is like during the pandemic, we had the opportunity to like we were offered like Coursera courses which were like free. So I took like multiple machine learning courses, and there was a grad student who I knew, and when he was back in Sri Lanka, I had this conversation regarding what he's doing and what I'm doing. Then I felt like I could do something together with him. So that's another point where I contributed to another research. So likewise, you have a very good network at the department. I saw recently as well, there are like multiple talks happening at the department as well. So you can talk to these resource persons. So in this panel as well, there are multiple resource persons that you can talk to. And then you can figure out your own path based on the interest area of yours. So that's how I figured out my own. So it went on to like multiple publications. So that's something very, very crucial if we are going to pursue higher studies, because nowadays there are students who are coming from other countries as well. Now it's a tendency that people are coming up with multiple publications. Another thing that I would say, if you are interested in research, so there are these research conferences, which are like highly reputed. So if you are interested in machine learning, there are multiple conferences in the world. So visit those websites. These are like openly available, and then some of the research papers might be available in the websites of the authors themselves. So there are read the best contributions in these conferences. You can find some research papers which are which were given the best paper awards. So read these research contributions and learn about them. So that's the best place that you can learn about what's happening in the world right now. And then as I mentioned before, you meet a lot of people at the department through sessions and events that are conducted. Talk to them and learn and see whether you can contribute. And that's would be a very good starting point if you want to contribute internationally. And at the same time, in your final year as well, the department offers you a bunch of research projects where you can select one from. And most of these research projects are very comprehensive. At the same time, you can come up with your own research project as well. But there are some cutting edge research stuff that are done at the department. Some of the research are like collaborating with foreign universities as well. So you'll get more exposure when you go towards the latter part of your undergraduate journey. But if you are someone who is like me, like who want to like get ahead of stuff and try to start doing things like in the second year, starting of third year, then talk to resource persons and go ahead. So that's kind of the advice that I can give to you.
Mika, today we are even a little bit more organized than that. Department plays a very active role in multiple multidisciplinary research centers. So, and we meet regularly, data search, the NLP, the IntelliSys. I mean, like we have multiple research groups, financial analytics. So my dear students, irrespective of whether you want to come to CSE or whether you get into another department, you can always do research with us. And this, I believe, is a wonderful time to start, right? Until you start your semester 2. This time that where you are now very comfortable having completed the semester 1 exams would be a great time. I mean, just get in touch with us. We will keep you posted, and I think up to there, all the group meetings can be posted to batch 2022 as well, where we can give them a chance. So we meet regularly. Thank you. Yeah, and there are few other questions. So, Teminian, can we take a couple of more questions, please? One on language, one on field selection process. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. We have a few questions here. Aimed at Dr. Iran. So, Dr. Iran, would you kindly walk us through the field selection process here at the Department of Computer Science and Engineering?
I think the question is around, I'm just deciding which field to go and how can I do it. I'm sorry if I'm adding some fun here because it's 6:30 in the morning. I'm still trying to stay awake. and this is sometimes also how I speak. So I'm sorry, but I'm professional, so don't take it wrong. So when I was in CSE, I can still remember those days, right? I think Salia mentioned this story. I didn't know how to speak English well, right? And I'm speaking now. I can't believe where I am right now. But I can speak in English, and looking at other people, I'm like, wow, these people have passion. Batched out from this thing. This is number 4. This guy's from Jaffna, and he's like mathematical Olympiad competition, blah blah blah. Right? It's okay, right? I think some decisions, even in my life, some of the best decisions I have made are the ones actually I didn't think too much, right? Marriage is one of them, by the way. So I think, think about what you want to do, right? If you like, working with electronics, working with those side of things, do electronic communication. No issues with it, right? That's your passion. If you like bridge construction, if you like, creating swimming pools, do it, right? That's your civil engineering. If you like, doing some gadgetics and stuff. I know Salia loves, making, even to create coconut, Salia makes some stuff. But if you like it, do mechanical engineering, right? I'm not saying Salia should do it, but I'm saying that's a different story. So look for your passion, right? I myself, I like, the closest thing for me to computer science was, I love playing Need for Speed those days. This was Need for Speed 4, long time back, right? And I always wonder, how do they make this, right? Because they have to work with how the video refresh rates, how do they do, when you press this button, how does that happen? I was really intrigued by that. And also everywhere you saw, even now, every place that you see a computer chip somewhere, right? And that has to be programmed by someone. That is not going away, right? The more we go into the future, these things will embed more and more, and people are needed to do that. And I want to be in that place, right? The second part is, I don't like to talk about this, but look at the potential of earning money. Have you seen a single person who's in computer science has changed the field to something else, right? Versus if you look at person from other fields, I can see a bunch of them. But why waste time? Just go and do the damn thing if you like it, right? The last point is the amount of money, right? I don't like to emphasize this, but money is also proportional to the potential that you have, right? Higher the demand, higher the amount of money you can earn, right? If it doesn't have higher demand, then it's a market economy, right? And that's something you can consider, right? I think Dr. Udair has posted an article I saw on Facebook that compares some of the outcomes. I am employing people from around the world. Oh, that's another point I want to think. Oshani, myself, Salia, we have all seen students coming from different parts of the world, right? Do I see people coming from CSE different? I can see the potential, right? And when I go and hire someone, I actually look at for look for their potential, right? How much of fundamentals he has, how much of experience they have brought in, right? It's not necessarily the university that they're graduating. So I did it, Srinath did it, Charlie did it, all of us did it. All of you can do it. So don't even think about whether you can do programming or not. You can do it. Come on. You have done like hard mathematical questions. You have done projectiles at applied maths and whatnot. Come on, you can do it. Right? Just push your mind to it. I have no issues with it. And if you're thinking of between computer science and ENTC and other things, right? Again, do a soul searching. What do I like to do for my life? Right? If I want to compromise my time with my girlfriend or my sports, what do you like to do? Do you like to do something because my mom asked me to do, right? Or you want to do something because I love doing this in my career, right? Pick that one, whatever it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Iran. I would also like to answer this question on the language thing. Actually, I mean, though Iran said you are the oldest, hey, come on, I'm the oldest here, right? And I have seen each and every one of you when you came to CSE and who you are today. And my dear children, I'm sure you can ask our distinguished panel individually. Language was never a barrier. And most of us, myself inclusive, we didn't speak good English when we get into the university, right? It was a struggle we learned through. And so language is never a barrier. And I mean, today, together with Dr. Nisansa, I am responsible for the communication skills. We help you, and you are being helped by colleagues. I still recollect people like Kushani and Nimanta, how you all kind of literally held the hands of the other people in your batch to help them overcome that. But I would really like to hear from panelists, or maybe almost all of you, on whether language was a barrier or whether you were very good English speakers when you came in. I mean, today we know that world probably pays to listen to you all, but how was the journey at CSE? Was language ever a barrier?
I can add something. So for me, language wasn't big of a barrier, but I was so scared of public speaking. And I know, Vishaka Madam, you kind of pushed me like, oh, your English is good, so you're the compeer for, for some event or the other. So that actually helped me, kind of overcome my public speaking, issues. And, I think I am an okay public speaker right now, but, even if you are deficient in one, thing, like I think, the faculty have been like very helpful in kind of pushing the students like hey do this thing, and then you you will help others, but at the same time you will also like grow yourself in this direction. So but my English also improved since I started in at Moritua like a long time back.
Yeah, I can add as well a similar story like Roshania covered. So didn't come with like zero English, but it wasn't like perfect. But then again, like Roshania was very shy to present, to get in front of people and speak. I remember the second year, the first assignment that we had to do after we got into CSE was to build this racing car. It was called Formula CSE, and I remember our car, it didn't even work properly. Like it just went like about 10 centimeters and it completely gave up on us. And then we had to get in front of a few of the lecturers and sell a car that was not even capable of moving 10 centimeters. So you can imagine the stress and the kind of things that we went through, but I think we came better on the other side. Learned a lot, had these kind of experiences to practice our communication skills and presentation skills. And then there were formal subjects as well that were offered by the department. I remember our communication skills teacher was Vishak Madam herself. So every week during one of the years, I forget which year it was, we had a communication skills class, and we had to actually go through Toastmasters kind of like subject matter. We had to do impromptu speeches, prepared speeches, all throughout that semester. And I think most of us hated it. We didn't understand why we were, practicing English speeches when we signed up to do computer science and engineering. But at the end of the day, I think it was really cool that the department did all of that, because all of us, not just myself, my batchmates, we came out being better English speakers and presenters when we graduated. So it helped, it definitely helped a lot.
Yeah, I want to add one thing here too. So English is another tool, and you have 4 years to learn that as well. And one thing I really appreciated while I was at CSE is that Vishaka madam didn't speak to us in Sinhala. So she always pushed us to speaking in English with her. So even though, I mean, my English, as everyone else mentioned, I mean, I was able to read, speak, but maybe not as better as today. I'm still also going through the same process. But that sort of having that support from the CSE also helped us. And the second thing is, you haven't seen other people around the world. I work with people who come from other continents, and their English is no different than ours. And you'll be surprised, some are like really bright mind people, especially if you are coming from an Asian countries, and it'll be a heck lot of harder to understand what they're saying than you guys are speaking. So don't think that as a barrier to entry.
Also, one final thing, I mean, what if you are an engineer? I mean, if you there's no difference between whether you do computer science or like even the other field. If you don't have English, you will be like, you will barely survive. I mean, maybe you will find some place that you will work, but you will never be known. You will make no contribution. You will very small chance to rise in the ladder, right? Because the engineering is done in English. So, and come on, I mean, you guys has mind to get like top of A levels and get top of the get to these fields. English is not. It's when you. I mean, basically, don't worry too much about it, but do it. Like talk, practice. You can get through it. It's not the most challenging part at all, actually.
I mean, I'm going to talk about not English language, but I'm also talking about programming languages because it's related. Someone has asked whether you need to know programming languages coming in. I still remember this was in year 2000. Vishaka madam was teaching us Pascal at JG, right? It's called JG, right? Yeah, the thing. I had no idea what she was, right? JG? Right. I have no idea what she was talking. Right. Only thing I remember is the default name of a Pascal file is no name 00.pas. And that's all I remember. And nothing. Right. But then over time, we all learn programming. Right. I actually coming into university, I knew C++, but we all learn Java. But what we learn more than a language is the fundamentals of the languages. Right. We learn object-oriented programming. We learn how programming languages work. Right. Today, if someone, there are new languages since we graduated, right? Golang is there, Rust is there, TypeScript, other frameworks, but we can learn. I can go and learn anything, in a couple of days, right? That's the fundamentals that you're doing, that you can have.
Yeah, and
so don't worry about, not being able to speak English, not knowing programming languages. You will learn this. This is part of your journey. You're not expected to know everything when you go out there. If you do, then you don't have to go to lectures, right? That's a different story about not going to lectures. I'm not going to open that can here. But we had our own share of stuff, but you can do it.
Today, they don't really have to come to lectures. They can participate via Zoom also.
I wanted to take a minute to add something real quick, since Chintakai, Iran, like you brought me into this whole mechanical thing and also talked about programming languages. So I wanted to add one point, which is in your life, you will grow into different interests, right? I mean, I have a hobby in woodworking and I do other stuff too. But all in all, the CSE thing comes into picture every time, right? Like this coconut scraping thing you were mentioning about, you can build things, and when you build things, you come to a point where you want to automate things, and at that point, you need to have some computer science background. So everything, it's a tool. It gives you a broader abilities, I would say, in your toolbox. If you have CSE in your toolbox, you can do a lot of things that interests you. That's how I take on that. And on the programming languages point, I want to bring one thing. Yes, there are many new languages that would come up, but fundamental scheme keeps pretty much the same. I haven't seen a programming language that has come up with something new. It's just a new syntax, new performance numbers, but that may be. But when you're learning programming languages, try to learn something that's close to hardware, I would say. Learn something like C, C++. Not just like a JavaScript type of thing. I'm not saying JavaScript is bad, but if you learn a pretty high-level language, you will lose a lot of understanding how it works. And when you don't know how something works, then it's a black box to you. And that's why I see a lot of people who know some framework or like some technology, but they will fail in like trying to go in the career forward, because knowing one particular solution is not the way to go. So learn something closer to hardware and understand how things work. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And with that, we are moving on to the evening of our question and answer session. And before wrapping up, I'd like to invite Dr. Srinath to present a few summing tips.
Sir, repeat that, please. I didn't hear the last sentence.
Dr. Srinath, it would be greatly appreciated if you could provide a few summing tips to our wonderful Mallis and Nangis of 22 batch before we sum up the Q&A session, if you don't mind, sir.
Okay. So, okay, I'll tell this to finish, right? So, I often come to these discussions between the department and the industry. And one of the repeating themes is that the industry asks for to teach people things they can use right away. Usually, if I'm around, I always say that teach them things that are hard to learn by themselves, right? Because it's the fundamental. I mean, people talk about fundamentals. You won't understand that right now because you haven't started. And it's same with what Sally was telling also. The thing is that syllabus is built to teach you fundamentals. So there are things in computer science that are very hard to learn by yourself. You need somebody after you to actually do it. You need to do the assignment. You need to do the hard things, etc. So this is the most important one. Yes, a lot of people think programming is easy, but that at the surface level. So there are a lot of topics that are hard for you to learn by yourself, right? So you need a degree, or you need somebody going after you so that you do the hard work and learn. And that's what you get by doing computer science. For example, machine learning, there are so many places you can learn. Programming, there are so many places. You can self-learn programming too, right? But to know it in enough detail to see the connections, and that's that fundamental that you get from CSE is not the only place to get it. Like there are other programs, like other computer science programs, etc. But usually a computer science program gives you that. So I'll leave that with that.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to all the wonderful panelists who are present here today for taking times off their busy schedules to be with us here this evening. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the Q&A session comes to an end. Also, a quick reminder, we'll be uploading this session onto our YouTube channel. So if any of your friends had missed this session, or if you would like to revisit, feel free to do so.
I would also thank you, everyone. And on behalf of the staff of the department, I think we should express our sincere gratitude to the batch 21. Really proud of you. And this is the CSE that we want you to be, not just only think about you, but help all others. One day, it will be you all who will be coming in place of all these people. And very sincere thanks to all of you panelists. You never miss a request from the department. And despite all the hectic schedules you had, Srinath, I know that you need to sign off immediately. Oshani had to run to a class. Thank you so much, everyone. This is what CSE is, and this is what we are always happy and proud of you. And on behalf of all my colleagues in the department, thank you to all the participants. Very special thank you to Batch 21 CSE for organizing this. And as always, very sincere thanks to all the panelists. Thank you.
On a final note, we hope that all participants clarified their doubts and, if any, gained more insights into life at CSE. We wish you all the very best in selecting your desired stream. And for those of you who are willing to take the next step in becoming a computer engineer, we are excited to have you join our family. I am Chemini Malikarachi.
And I am Mohammed Iyad Khan.
Signing off as the hosts for the day. Wishing you a pleasant week ahead. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.